It's been a long time since I did one of these. Don't mind my hair, it's greasy. I have to wash my hair tomorrow. But, hi. I just wanted to talk a little bit. Make sure I don't have food in my teeth. Just had some really yummy dinner. So. Anyways. Hi. I just wanted to talk to Hopefully you stay this time. That was really funny. Just fell to the floor. Anyways, so I haven't talked to you in a long time. And we're about to go on another trip to Florida. And this time we're actually going to get married. Before, in December, if you watched that, like, ASMR podcast, I talked about how we were going to get married when we went down to visit family in December. And then it ended up being too short notice. We weren't able to plan everything. So in the state of Florida, if one person is a resident and the other person is not, you are required, if you don't want to wait 3 days for processing, you're required to take a marriage course. And we didn't have time to do all that before our trip. So we ended up, instead of rushing, we just decided to wait until the next time we came to visit family, which is in like 2 weeks. So we did the course this time. It lasts 60 days, the certification that they give you after you finish. And it was like so silly, and I mean, it was interesting because we found out that we know a lot more about each other than most couples do because we talk. And I didn't realize that most couples don't really talk or like interact with each other that much because they're both really busy, or you might be with someone that's not really meant for you and you don't really you just don't mesh well, and that should be your first like sign that you shouldn't get married. So I guess it's like a warning sign, like, hey, either get to know this person or don't marry them if you don't like their answers to the questions that they asked. So it was like, what does your partner like? Do you accept the fact that your partner can help you learn things and help you get out of your comfort zone? And are you okay with getting out of your comfort zone? And it's about mutual like trust, and it's you and them versus the world, not you against them. And don't keep score of like who did what for each other, and basically like basic stuff. And I was talking to my parents about this, and my dad was like, yeah, the normal couple only talks to each other like 30 minutes out of a week. And I was like, a week? That's crazy. I feel like we don't talk enough, and we talk every single day for at least, like during the week, since he works and he leaves the house, we talk for at least an hour after he gets off of work. And then on the weekend we hang out, we go grocery shopping together, and that's like at least 3 hours, and we're talking. And then we play video games together, and while we're playing video games we talk. Sometimes he gets a little distracted and he watches TikToks and YouTube videos while we're like in queue for games, but we talk a lot. And it's crazy because every couple has their own problems, right? But you don't think that some of them are normal problems that like every couple goes through, but then you have your own specific problems depending on what how you guys clash. But it's crazy thinking that like people, it makes my problems feel minuscule, that like other people have bigger things to worry about when it comes to their relationships, and I have it pretty good. My partner talks to me, which should be the bare minimum, right? But most people don't have that, it was just a mind-opening, mind-blowing experience. The course, anyway, we did the course. It's all done, and we're planning on getting married the day after we arrive in Florida. So our marriage date is going to be the 11th, And we're going to celebrate on the 12th because apparently his family got us like little gifts that have the date of the 12th, which was what we were originally going to get married. But that's okay. I like the 12th better than the 11th anyways. So we're going to celebrate on the 12th. And it's so weird. Like, I've watched podcasts and I've listened to other people talk on the internet about how everybody has their own mental age in their head. Where like, I'm 30, but I don't feel 30. So when I tell myself like, oh my god, I'm gonna get married, it's like, what? I'm only like 18 or 19 or whatever. Or like 22, I'm probably like 21, 22 in my head. And I'm just like, I'm here, you know? It makes me emotional. Because it's like, I never thought. I never thought I would get here. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Man, I wasn't kidding. The first time I did a podcast episode, I was like, oh, this could be like talking to myself like a little diary and getting through like the emotions that I didn't even know that I needed to get through. I've literally been talking for like 10 minutes and I'm already crying. I didn't even know that I mean, I knew that I felt like that, but I never like voiced it. So, because like, I don't know what that was, but that scared the crap out of me. Because like, I just thought about a spider being in here and it kind of freaked me out now. But anyway, like, you have your thoughts, right? But you don't realize, like, your thoughts are different from when you like actually speak them out loud. You can go through a lot of like the feelings that you need to get through and things you need to feel when you just talk out loud, even if it's just yourself. This is literally one of the best things I've ever decided to do. Even if I don't decide to post some parts, like, I can cut it out and edit or delete or just keep it for myself. But it's really nice to be able to like speak out loud what I need to get out. Because I didn't even realize that I needed this until one night randomly. I was like, I really miss my mom and I just want to talk to someone. I'm really glad I decided to do that. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna be getting married in like 10 days. And that's just crazy to me. I mean, I'm happy. I want to marry him, you know? But I can't believe I'm here. Like, I can't believe so much time has passed and life has put me where I am now. Like, I never thought that I would be moving to a different state away from my family and like growing in that way that I needed to. So I felt like I relied on my parents a lot. I mean, I still do. But it's different when you move to another state and you have to do everything on your own and the only person that you know is your partner. And there's nothing really else. Like, I mean, I could always rely on my family. They would come here in a heartbeat if I needed them. But for day-to-day stuff, it's just me and him. I never thought that I would have a house like this, and like, I never thought I'd live where I live and do the things that I've done. And I can't wait to see like what we're gonna do in our lives, what we're gonna experience and what we're gonna encounter and what things we're gonna accomplish together. It's weird because I don't feel like I'm my age. I feel like I'm so much younger and like all this is happening so fast. And I remember one day being lonely, so lonely, and just wanting to have someone to love. And I'm here now. So, it doesn't help that I'm supposed to be getting my period this week either. I'm like extra emotional right now. Everything's making me angry. Everything's making me cry. We're watching an anime called Solo Leveling, and the last episode was so freaking cool that I just wanted to cry because I was so like mind blown and like moved, and but it wasn't even sad. It was just really cool, and I just wanted to cry because of how many emotions I had. So if you're not a girl, you don't understand, but it's something so different, and you can't really describe it. Going from being super angry to like super sad to like super happy and hungry, so hungry. Like the week before, I'm like starving. I feel like I can eat every single hour, and then during, I don't even want to touch food. I'm like so nauseous all the time. But anyways, I made some really yummy dinner today. I need to stop slouching. I've been thinking about getting one of those like back correcting things, like shoulder strap things, because oh my goodness, now my nose is dripping. And of course my fiance doesn't have tissues in the car. Anyway, on Monday I have been playing this game called Animals and Coins. I download apps on my iPad for an app called Swagbucks, and I make money for reaching levels and all that stuff. So I'm playing a game called Animals and Coins right now, and I had to reach a certain like level by 8 a.m. in the morning. 8 a.m. in the morning. 8 a.m. on Monday morning. This past Monday. And I was up in bed until like 6 or 7 so I can hit it. And I actually hit it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's never gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I had to stay up so late. And I guess I was so tired. I slept terribly. I woke up at noon, and my entire right shoulder was stiff. My right shoulder was stiff, and my neck was stiff. I feel like I could not move it past like here, and I was like this, slanted, and my entire right shoulder was like so sore. It was uncomfortable. I haven't had that much pain in a long time. And my fiance went to go get BioFreeze, and then I started doing hot and cold and hot and cold. It was so terrible. It still hurts a little bit, but I've noticed that I favor my left side a lot when I'm in the car. As you can see now, I'm like leaning on this side. When I'm standing, I lean to the left, and then it puts a lot of pressure on my right side. My right hip, I'm constantly popping my right hip and my right shoulder. So I was thinking about getting a back correcting thing, because I know that it will affect me a lot when I'm older. I mean, I'm already 30. I'm very old. Which is kind of crazy to think I've been on this planet for 30 years, of most of which I don't remember. I probably remember bits and pieces from when I was a kid, but nothing like the memorable parts. Like I remember when I want to say I was 8. I was in kindergarten or first grade, so I was 6. And I remember sneezing in the back seat of my mom's car. And when I sneezed, my tooth fell out, and it was in my hands. And I said, Mommy, look. And then she was like, oh my God, Tooth Fairy's gonna come. So I remember that when I was a kid. But like, where I remember my actual life, like my day-to-day stuff, and like things that I went through, probably like 14, 13. But before that, I don't really remember much. If my dad didn't do all those home videos, I don't think I would have remembered anything. I wonder what's the earliest someone can ever remember from their life. Besides like those people that like have crazy good memory and they remember things from like 19 whatever. They're like, oh, in 1962, August 5th, this happened. Even though they weren't there. Like, and a normal not saying they're not normal, but like a person that doesn't have some type of disorder like that. Is that the right word to use? I don't know if that's like incorrect to say. I'm very out of touch with that kind of stuff. Like, I don't even know what that is called. When your brain, photographic memory? No. Maybe. But anyway, like those people that can remember things about their lives, like, or not those people, not the people that can remember things that happened when they were like 1, because their brains are wired differently and they can remember every single freaking detail. I wish I was like that. But the people that can't remember, I wonder what's the earliest someone can remember from their lives. Like what's an average? Probably around like 10, maybe. But anyway, it's like April. Today's April 1st. Happy April Fools, by the way. And it's really cold. It's like 50 degrees today, which is normally not that cold. But at night it gets to be like 30. It's really weird. And I know this is like technically I've been here for a year. Woohoo. Been here since March 22nd. But it's just really weird to see snow in April or end of March. It's just weird. We didn't really get that many bad storms this year. I mean, we had that one really bad one where we lost power. But we only lost power one time, and it was in October or November. And it was for, I think it was like for 8 hours. Thankfully, it came back. But we had another storm. It was like, I think we had like 15 inches of snow or something. It was really bad. We had a bad storm in January when my fiance's parents came to visit. And the wire is stuck in my foot. Please don't fall. It was a lot of snow. I remember we were driving and we were driving in the middle of a snowstorm and we saw a bunch of like deer passing. It was really terrifying. But yeah, it's just weird. We don't really get that much snow right now since March. It's kind of more warm, but it's terrible because it gets like 70 degrees and then the next day it'll be like 30. And I don't know if my body can take this anymore. Like, pick one, hot or cold. Let me decide if I want to put on a jacket and another jacket, or just wear a tank top. It's like today, the house was so warm it got to 73 degrees and the furnace was not turning on. So I put on a tank top because I was cooking and I was in the kitchen for like 3 hours. And then once my fiance gets home, I'm putting on my hoodie because it's already 50 degrees and I'm not doing anything. I'm just like sitting and watching stuff on my phone or like on the computer or whatever. So I'm not like actively moving around. But man, dinner was really good today. I'm trying to I think I want to start meal prepping in the sense of like ingredients for when I don't feel well or when I have I recently got a temporary job and it starts May 13th and it's until June 18th. So for that 5 weeks, I'm going to be able to work 40 hours a week and make extra money. And so I was thinking if I start meal prepping now, then I'll be used to it by that time comes. By the time after our trip, we're only going to be in Florida for like a week. So today I was like ingredient prepping because we're going to be on our trip and I want to be able to freeze all the veggies in the fridge so they don't go bad and get moldy when we come back and I have to throw a bunch of stuff away. Water break. So I cut all of the carrots that we had in the fridge. There was a bunch of mold on the stems, so I just cut that off, threw it away. And then I just diced them up, put them in a Ziploc baggie with some zucchini, and I'm going to make soup with that, or I'll make something with it, I don't know. I'll make something. If it's hot by the time Thursday comes around, then I won't make soup because I don't know if any of you guys are the same way, but my fiance hates having soup when it's hot. I get it, soup is like a winter meal, but I can have soup any time of the year because that's how I was raised. My mom always made soups, stews, things like that. So I'm used to it. I'm Hispanic, so I'm used to having rice and then beans and some type of protein, or rice with soup or noodles or stew, whatever. We're very tomato based people, and beans. So I don't know, I just think it's weird. I could have soup all the time. So I was like, oh, I might make a chicken noodle soup, because I wanted to make chicken noodle soup a couple weeks ago, but he was like, I don't know if I want it. It was freezing cold outside. So instead I made it with chicken sausage. He was like, oh my god, this sounds so good. He didn't have any, he had it one time. I had it every single time, even though it's not something I wanted. And I had to freeze some of it because I didn't finish it before a week passed. And I don't want it to go bad. So now it's going to be our meal for when we come back on our vacation. I'm going to unfreeze it the night before, and that'll be what we eat the next day. So I don't have to cook. But it's like, it's frustrating because, I mean, I love the ideas that he gives me, because I hate being the one to come up with the stuff all the time, since I'm the one that cooks. He's the one that goes out of the house and works. And I work part-time. But I like it because I've found that I really enjoy cooking a lot. I have to be in the mood for it, but when I'm in the mood for it, I'm like cooking, baking, prepping, all this stuff. And it's fun. I like it. I just put on some music and I have my own little moment, and I'm like jamming, dancing in the kitchen, and cooking. It's great. I've learned how things mix together. I've like experimented making Asian dishes, and anyway, where was I? What was I even saying? Oh, so he wanted me to make tortilla soup, and then he wanted me to make that soup with chicken sausage. He had the tortilla soup twice, and then he had the sausage soup once. And then I had to have it, both of them, a majority of the time. I think I had the tortilla soup probably like 4 or 5 times, and then I had the sausage soup like 4 or 5 times. And then the rest of the sausage soup I have to freeze. So I was telling him today, I was like, I think what I'm going to do from now on is I'm just going to make what I want to make. Unless it's something that he suggests and I'm like, ooh, that's a good idea, I want that too. But if I am like today, for example, I told him, I was like, do you want spaghetti or lasagna? And he was like, lasagna sounds better. Actually, he said spaghetti sounds better. But last week he said lasagna sounded better. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make spaghetti. And then this morning, I was like, actually, taco meat sounds way better. So I texted him and I'm like, does taco meat sound okay? Is it tacos okay? And he was like, oh my gosh, that sounds really good. And then I ended up making it into like a goulash. It's still taco meat, but it was with a bunch of added veggies. And then he ate it and he was like, oh my god, that was so delicious. I told him, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start making what I think sounds good. And you usually just gobble it up anyway because you love everything that I make. And sometimes when I make something, he'll look at it, he'll go, that doesn't really sound that great. And then he eats it and he's like, oh my gosh, that was so delicious. So I'm just going to... It sounds bad, but I'm just gonna like ignore what he says about like, oh, it doesn't really sound that good, because I know if I do it anyway, he's gonna be like, oh my god, that was such a good idea, you're so amazing. I just make good food and he likes my food, and I'm very grateful that he likes my food. But sometimes he doesn't have the best ideas for dishes, because even he doesn't even eat them, and I just feel bad because it goes to waste, and I don't want to do that. But there was one time that I actually didn't have that great of an idea. I saw on TikTok people making like French onion soup, but with noodles. And I didn't think to boil the noodles in the French onion soup. So I boiled the noodles outside in a different pot, and then I strained them out, and then I put them in the French onion soup. And they were so soggy. And they like just fell apart. And it was so terrible, and I hated it. And he was like, yeah, this is delicious. I feel like he liked it a little bit, but I think he would like it better if I cooked the noodles in the soup. Because I like French onion soup, just with the onions. But he doesn't really, because he doesn't like broth. what kind of person doesn't like soup with broth? I don't know. I mean, maybe a bunch of people don't, but I love brothy soup. I literally could just drink the broth. So he was like, oh yeah, the noodles sound like a good idea. And then I made so much of it that he was eating it every single day for a week. And he was like, okay, I'm kind of sick of this. And I felt so bad because I did not eat it at all because it was so soggy and gross in my opinion. So I think next time I make French onion soup, I'm going to scoop out half and then put the noodles in the other half. So that way I can have it without noodles and then he can have it with noodles. I think that'd be a lot better. But I haven't made that in a while, actually. I think I made that last year. But anyway, I feel like I've talked so much. I've been watching a lot of Brittany Broski. I've been addicted to her podcast, The Broski Nation, The Broski Report. I don't know if you heard my stomach. But her episodes are so funny. If you don't watch her, you need to watch her. She is hilarious. She makes me laugh. Sometimes I'm crying laughing. She's so funny. It's great. It makes me happy. But anyway, I digress. I've been talking for quite a bit. That is an update on me. I'm sure there's some other stuff I could talk about, but I want to go inside because it is very cold. But I will probably do this again sometime because I obviously needed it. I haven't recorded a podcast episode in I think 2 months. I think I recorded one right before my fiance's parents came in January, so it's been a while. But this was nice. I really, really enjoyed it. I hope that you enjoyed it too, even though I was rambling and talking and I probably raised my voice a little too much in the middle there because I got a little excited. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Until next time, good night.